Hey everyone, it's Johnny, aka J Weeks Music, and last weekend I got 5th place in Kenny Beats Beat Battle competition.
Number 5 today, Jay Weege's You Just Won Sound Toys Decapitator. Amazing.
So I wanted to make a breakdown video for the beat after seeing Kenny's reaction on stream, and I'll post the full clip of Kenny playing the beat, reacting, giving feedback and comments at the end of this video. But basically, Kenny didn't believe that I made the beat during the actual battle. He thought I made it months ago or weeks ago and then just slapped the sample on top of the beat. So hopefully this breakdown video clears things up. Before we get into the actual breakdown, I want to give a huge thank you to Kenny. These beat battles have been such an amazing way for the community to get connected, for producers to get some spotlight, and obviously the fact that he's giving away thousands of dollars in prizes every week to the winners is amazing. So thank you, Kenny. So with that, let's get into the beat breakdown, starting with the sample that we had to use from a classic meme, The Longest Yeah Boy Ever. Sounds a little something like this.
Yeah, boy!
And it goes on like that for a while. So it's kind of a cool sample because there's not a ton of frequency oscillation. It stays on that F natural. You can kind of turn it into a synthesizer pretty easily. It's definitely different than chopping up, a song or a record that has melodies and drum loops. So you kind of have to get creative with how you use the sample. So the first thing that I did was throw it into Logic's Q sampler instrument. And you can see I've taken a super small section of the boy and turned it into this kind of short release synth. So when you play it, it sounds like this. And it's got this cool kind of clavichord feel to it. And after just playing around with melodies for a few minutes, came up with this. So that's the main loop. In terms of processing, I just added a little bit of reverb, some light stereo spread, and some EQ. Next, I wanted to play some electric guitar. I wanted to play some chords that match the melody there. And so I played this. And in terms of processing, this is actually pretty much just a Logic stock electric guitar plugin called Endless Summer. There's just running through an amp, a little bit of EQ and compression, nothing super fancy. Didn't want to spend too much time messing around with the preset just because you're on a clock. From there, went to playing some bass, which is actually just an electric guitar sound shifted down 1 octave, and it sounds like this. Actually sounds okay when you run it through this bass amp. So nothing kind of melodically too complex, just playing root notes there to support the electric guitar and the lead synth. And then from there, it was time to play some drums. So in terms of my drum setup, I have a kick mic, an overhead mic. Well, it's actually not really an overhead mic. It's right in between the snare and the hi-hat, pointed directly at me. I just labeled it as overhead. And then I layered in a crash that I played as well. So I'll play the drums together first. If you look at each of the drum tracks, there's actually not a lot of processing. On the kick, there's just some channel EQ, and on the overhead, there's some EQ, some compression. I used Logic's stock exciter plugin just to bring out some of the kind of natural organic pop in the snare and the hi-hat, and a little bit of reverb as well. And for the crash, I added some flange just to give it a little spice. So all together, here's what it sounds like so far. already sounding okay, not a bad start. I did want to find a way to incorporate the sample in a couple more instruments and fill out kind of the atmosphere for the beat. So what I did was I opened up a new Q sampler instrument and took the boy piece of the sample again, but made it a little bit longer, and added some tremolo and reverb and just played the chords that I'm playing on the electric guitar, and it sounds like this. In terms of processing, I'm just using Logic's stock tremolo plugin, 16th note rate, 89% depth, and 51% smoothing, just so that it's not a super harsh tremolo, and then just added some reverb as well. So now, in terms of what we have for the beat, we have this. So we filled out the kind of beat atmosphere a little bit better with that synth. And finally, the only thing left was to add an intro. So what I did was take the Yeah Boy and layer it in an arpeggio just leading into the beat. So here's what that sounds like.
Yeah, boy.
So I don't know, maybe a little cheesy, but just something to get the listeners' attention. And that's pretty much it. There's only a few instrumental tracks. You don't have a ton of time to work with, but I tried to incorporate the sample in as many ways as I could. I will say, and Kenny says this every once in a while too, it's super helpful to be able to play live instruments if you can. It saves a ton of time. It's a huge productivity hack in terms of getting stuff recorded quickly. So that covers the beat pretty much. I hope you enjoyed it. And now I'll play the clip from Kenny's stream where he listened and gave the feedback and comments on the beat. Thanks for watching.
Let's keep going though. Jay Weeges up next. Let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Quick question about that beat. What month did you make it in? Because I feel like you just put a Yeah Boy sample on the front of a beat. But if you did make that today, good job. I like the chord change. I'm not sure I love the synth sound that's doing like the root notes behind it or whatever. But I like the feel of it. I like the chord change. I'm not in love with the drums. Favorite beat of today so far. No offense to anybody, but it's not saying much yet. Yeah, when did you make that beat? Was it like 3 weeks ago or? I like it, Jay Weed.